Welcome to I Am the Cute One, the most chaotic school dance in the podcast universe.
Listen, you got through the week like we got through 9/11.
And a recession.
And the Special K diet.
And the time that James Franco hosted the Oscars.
And Ben Platt's wig and Dear Evan Hansen.
TGIF.
Hello, I am Donnie and I am the cute one.
And I'm Chelsea and I'm the cute one.
TGIF, cuties.
TGIF.
Before we begin, another day, another broken thing in this apartment. So at any moment, it should have been 19 minutes ago, but God knows when that'll really be. Men will be coming in my house to fix something else that fell through the ceiling.
Okay, well, I do love that at your old apartment we had the motorcycle gang. Patreon cuties are very familiar. And in this apartment, it really is just like the Seinfeld door where instead of Kramer, we just have various men coming in to fix things.
And you know what? I'm really starting to get pissed off because these men are in my apartment at least once every other week. They're bi-weekly guests at this point. But when they see me in the street, they do not say hello. And I say hi to them. And I have a memorable face.
Well, maybe work won't love you back. And when they're off the clock, they don't want to think about work, you know?
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, we'll say that. And we won't say it's because they're homophobic.
Okay. Well, last week, we left the cuties on a cliffhanger. I did mention a chainsaw, and we swiftly moved directions, rightfully so, to your MRI results, etc. But I did have a few DMs that said, pardon? So, cuties, I'm here today to tell you about my favorite new tool, the old chainsaw.
Oh, I don't like that.
So you may recall that when I did my solo episode way back when, I had to pause halfway through because my mother showed up with her very own chainsaw to whack some bushes in my backyard. And me and her have been getting shit done. Two neurodivergent ladies just hyper-focused on gardening this spring. It's been a lovely time, a bonding experience. We're getting our hands in the earth. We're feeling grounded, connected to Mother Gaia, etc. And she was whipping that chainsaw out because I have a really nice, like, big backyard, but no landscaping has been done for, I don't know, at least since I've been here, which is 7 years. But my cousin owned this house before me, and I know she didn't do shit. So I'm going to say, like, for 20 years, all of these, like, trees and bushes, or what I thought were bushes that surround my property, have not been touched. It turns out these bushes aren't bushes. They're just giant weeds.
No.
Weeds with pricker bushes, weeds with some poison ivy, some poison oak. So my mom and I have been going around the whole outside of my yard and weeding. And like underneath, Donnie, I feel like I'm discovering the secret garden. We rip down these things and there are beautiful plants underneath. Who knew? So as I was seeing my mom use her chainsaw, I said, I got to get me one of those. And ooh, baby, have I been going to town. I feel like a Jedi, and that's my lightsaber.
Wow. Well, that's interesting.
But that's why earlier in the week, Donnie, you were texting me, and I hadn't gotten back to you. And then I said, sorry, I've been chopping down trees all day. And you said, it's always something like that with you.
And you know what? I wish I was kidding. I wish there was humor in that, but it really is always something like that with you. I'm proud of you, though. It's a skill.
Yeah, and wait till you see it. I'll send you some pictures. My backyard's looking wonderful. I have my wildflower garden in the back. I'm ordering some wind chimes this week to make it a little more mystical. It's going to be great.
Yeah, you are that kind of, you're a wind chime witch.
For sure. How was your week?
A little bit of everything, truly.
Just like Dawes once said.
Who's that?
It's a band. That's a reference that probably one person got. Hey, that was for you, cutie.
Oh, my 1 year sober anniversary occurred. So that is incredible.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Felt great. I went to Boxers with Kendrick to celebrate. I had a Heineken Zero and looked at some butts through a thin layer of underwear.
A perfect celebration.
I thought so.
Actually, I got teary-eyed when I saw that picture because I remembered when we first did your sobriety episode, Boxers at night was a place that you were like, I don't feel comfortable going. And there you were, drinking your Heineken Zero.
There I was. Now, I will say it was Musical Monday, so the vibes is very different. Like, if it is fucking on the dance floor, I still don't think I'm ready for that. But a drag queen singing poorly while 10 people clap for her, why not? I can be here.
Yeah.
Also, Chelsea, make that a reaction shot. I am very overwhelmed by Big Brother 40 editing.
Yeah, I could tell.
I don't respond to your texts about it. So that is how you know that I am in my habit of retreating, but
Uh-huh.
I'm still working. I'm not retreating and not doing it. I'm still trying to make progress. I just am not, when it is brought up to me, I run away.
Yeah, I do think that we bit off a little bit more than we could chew.
I'd
We could
say
put
a
it
lot.
that way. We deep-throated a whole rotisserie chicken, and maybe we just needed to go through the KFC drive-through.
Yeah. And I think when we do figure it out, it will be great. But
Mhm.
the cameras were so high tech that the files are too big for my computer. So when I try to edit it, it's impossible to edit on the program we normally use and are familiar with because everything. So I don't know if I'm editing a good cut or not because like what I'm seeing is not what it will be.
Yeah.
So then
Yeah.
my friend that uses it for work had a discount code for me to use the program he uses for work. So we used that. And I feel like someone put me on an empty plot of land with like wood and tubing and whatever the fuck pieces of metal and said like, okay, build a house because I have all the resources available to me, but I truly don't know what to do.
Yeah. Well, a couple things. One is I do understand, especially after some of the stuff we talked about in our last episode, that perhaps I didn't come away from BB40 as Miss Congeniality or America's Sweetheart. I understand that people don't want my hands
Mm.
in the cookie jar when I myself am a cookie.
Yeah.
But I do think I can help with things like adding the chyrons or
Okay.
like background music. Like if you do the storyboarding, I am more than happy to help you on the other side of it. And I also feel like let's tag team this, and we can cut this if we need to because we did not discuss this, but let's not do ANTM this week just to
Oh,
give
okay.
you a chance to breathe.
Uh-huh.
The cuties will understand.
Please understand.
Nobody is going to be yelling at us, especially because, like, again, cuties, we are delivering a TV show. Like, some of the confessionals you've shown me, we have some reality stars on our hands. Like, it will be worth it. But that way we can tag team it. And then I think you just, like, do what makes sense to your brain in terms of figuring it out. Like, when I first started editing this show, I was definitely not the most efficient, but you like do what makes sense to you. And then throughout the process, you learn little things by accident to then like that's how you learn a skill. So I feel like you do what you need to do on your end and then send me all the stuff that like doesn't involve storytelling. Like I can add the music or captions
Okay.
or chyrons and stuff.
Okay. I think I might edit in this new program each clip individually and then save it at a lower quality than it is and then edit in the program we're used to. So cuties, if you wanted to rent a movie theater to watch Big Brother 40, maybe you won't. Not this time. Just watch it on your TV screen.
Maybe by episode 2 they will, because literally it is so high def that we could rent a movie theater and it would still be crystal clear on a big screen. But people are watching on their computers, on their phones, and maybe if they're super fancy, they're streaming on their TV. I love that we had the full production crew. Looking back, maybe iPhones would have been just fine, but it is going to be worth it on the back end. I think that that's the thing about creating is like, in my mind, creating is like excitement, 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 stress, excitement, stress, 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 excitement. I hate it. Why did I do this? I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Excitement and then giddiness.
Okay.
So
Well,
right
I'm
now
at the
we're
I
just
hate it stage.
you're at the I hate it stage, but I am still in the excitement phase.
Okay.
So if anything, this is when I wish we lived in the same city so I could just sit on the couch and be good vibes. But if anything, I can just be good vibes as you are crashing out and your computer might, crash out, cancel clear.
Cancel clear. Because I make all my money on my computer, but that's not going to happen. I'm in my lucky girl era.
And cuties, let us know if you would be mad at us if we didn't do ANTM this month and we do re-releases. We could always take a spring break and make it up on the back end for a summer break. Usually we take off July and August. Maybe we just take off July and we take our August PTO and put it in April. Because I can tell you're stressed out and this is supposed to be fun. To quote one Kyle Cook, and we'll get there, cuties, don't you worry. Summer should be fun.
Yeah.
And right now it's not feeling fun, and it's going to be worth it. Like the stuff you've showed me, it's gorgeous. We look like we're in the Harry Potter castle, but you are stressed.
I am. And again, when we're on the other side, I will be excited. But it's getting to the point where now it is like tarnishing my memory of the weekend itself.
Oh.
And like my takeaway from my birthday is not giddiness.
No, and you'll get back to giddy. But yeah, you do whatever makes sense to your brain. You'll learn tricks of the trade along the
Okay.
way, and then just send me stuff and boss me around. Just say, like, here's a clip, add this music. Here's a clip, can you add captions? And I'll do that
Okay.
side. So I'm keeping my hands clean for the potential villain edit I might get.
Okay. Oh, you will. You, among others. There were some villains. Which then, by the way, okay, I said I wasn't excited about my birthday as a whole, but I did think
one mention of me being a villain and the life is back in his eyes.
Yeah, because then I thought like there were enough, like it was almost split where there were enough villains where if I did something again, I could do like heroes versus villains. We could do survivor tribes of all the good people and all the bad people.
If people keep it cute on the Patreon, which I've already given the disclaimer, because there is a Patreon group chat now specifically for all things BB40, so people can be commenting over there, giving their predictions, talking about how obsessed they are with certain cast members, etc. I already gave the disclaimer like, hey, so this is going to present like a real reality show. There are, as you said, several villains. These are all also people not only in Donnie's real life, but people that are like the most important people to Donnie in his life. So don't be.
And not only that, like if you were talking shit about my friends and family, like obviously I wouldn't like that. But because it is only going to be viewable behind the Patreon paywall, people that want to watch it that have played are members as well. So like you will be talking shit about them to their face. So don't.
Yeah. But so if people could keep it cute, it would be fun at the end of the season to say which camp each person would go in.
I love that.
Cuties, let us know. Will you be super pissed? Will you cancel us? Will you leave us 1-star reviews? I know you didn't sign up for this. We just threw this at you that we were going to all of a sudden produce a reality show. But would you be okay if we moved around some of our brain power to maybe not do ANTM this month? We would still get to it, but to like not have a Monday episode so that you could have that Wednesday episode. And maybe we make the first episode free so that everybody can see what they're dipping their toes into before committing to it. Because again, we decided to do this to you, but it's going to be so worth it. You got to trust us.
Please.
Having lived it, you got to see it to believe it.
So I am very stressed with editing BB40, but I knew that there would be a come down of the event itself and not being able to plan it and not being able to whatever. So I, on the front end, already booked this week, like to the brim to see so many Broadway shows. And then it just happened that like the universe gifted me, thank you universe, with so many movies I wanted to see on my birthday week. But because I was busy with Big Brother 40, I couldn't. So then I saw like 4 movies this week, 5 Broadway shows. So I've been a busy, busy boy. The best part is every single thing I saw, I loved, but I'm not going to put them all in recommendations. So I'm going to list them all and tell you a little bit about each one. And then we'll move right into recommendations where I tell you the best Broadway show I saw and the best movie I saw.
Okay.
Okay. So first of all, I don't love reality TV as a whole. Competition show I do. Love shows I don't. But love Overboard on Hulu. Chelsea, have you heard of it?
Only from your Instagram stories, it seems like another indication that we as a society are failing.
But also winning, succeeding, because this is the rotted culture we're supposed to have. Like, this is reality TV in the early 2000s. Yes, people were like, oh, this is disgusting. Why is this on TV? The first season of Big Brother, people had to stand on a scale and then binge eat cake and stand back on the scale. And whoever gained the most weight won the competition. Like, that kind of stuff is terrible, but also great. And that's what Love Overboard is. So it's like 20 hot singles on a yacht. Gabby Wendy's the host. So she's like, ahoy, perverts, like that.
Oh, I love it. Okay. I'm already sold. You say Gabby Wendy and I say, I'm there.
Yeah, she's an incredible host. 20 hot singles on a boat. The first challenge, you're in a line and you get called up randomly and you pair up with who you think is hot or whatever. So, like, couples are randomly pairing up. But then after four, Gabby says, okay, that's enough. That's our couples. So then the four couples get to stay on the top deck and, like, have unlimited food and drink, get to tan, have jacuzzi access, whatever. Everybody else has to work on the boat, like below deck. And then that's not even it, Chelsea. The people working on the boat, their objective is to get one of the couples to cheat on the person they're paired up with. And if they do, then the person that isn't has to walk the plank.
And then they become the person on
No,
deck?
they walk the plank into the sea and they're off the
Both of
show.
them?
Oh, no. The
Or is
person
the
that
cheater rewarded?
the cheater's rewarded because they're now in a couple. But then what's cool is like there are people below deck that start to have feelings for each other. So then they scheme and they're like, if you break up this couple, then I'll come in and you cheat on her with me. It's so
That's
good.
crazy and fascinating. And you better enjoy it while you can, Donnie, because they are 2 seasons away from Think Pieces on Threads.
I'll just Dear Algo them because I sure as shit did say, Dear Algo, I don't give a shit about Summer House. Do with that what you will.
Well, unfortunately, you won't be able to Dear Algo this episode, and
That's
there's no
okay.
escaping what I have to say, but I think you'll be on the same side as me. But
Okay.
again, that's what we call a teaser in the biz. So if you're here for
Yeah.
Summer House and you're ready to get mad at me, either skip ahead a little bit or just hang tight.
And I do edit other people's podcasts, so I have heard my fair share of this Summer House stuff. But at least I feel like, I don't know, maybe there's a different energy, or maybe it's just the people I work for or with. But like, there is a different energy of people talking about it verbally than online.
Yeah, well,
Okay.
save your thoughts because we
Okay.
certainly will get into all of that in just a bit.
So the movies I saw this week, and I'll give one little quick boops about each one. Project Hail Mary, I think it'll win.
Is this a disaster movie?
Yeah.
I saw a preview for it. I surely did get out my phone and text my brother right away. New disaster movie, Ryan Gosling. So I wanted it to be confirmed before I went and saw it. So yay.
It is different than what I consider a disaster movie, but there's like science in it. Over-explained, yeah. So Project Hail Mary, I think it'll win awards. The rock Martian that they show in the trailer, he's not CGI'd at all. That's like a puppet. So I do think like we're doing big things. Everything else I saw, I think was not as good of a movie, but as always, best is different than favorite. So like everything else was right the fuck up my alley. Ready or Not 2, I think worked better than the first Ready or Not. And Sarah Michelle Gellar's in it, so maybe that's why I liked it. I also saw They Were Kill You. We'll put a pin in that. We'll revisit that later. And I saw Forbidden Fruits, which is produced by Diablo Cody. It's about these 4 girls that work at the mall and start a coven. And the whole movie, kind of nothing happens. It's just like, are they really witches or are things just like happy coincidence?
You just said so many words. That's like exactly a movie made for me.
Yeah. I loved it. And it's perfect. It's very like mall culture. Like at one point, this girl's hiding from someone else and she hides in American Eagle jean section. Like it is a perfect
film. Does it take place like early or does it take place in present day?
I didn't pay enough attention to their phones to pick up on that. It feels early, even if it's not.
I think that the mall is just a transporter to the past anyway.
I
like
agree.
Anybody who shops in person, it might as well be 2010, you know?
Yeah. The theater I've seen this week is Cats, The Jellicle Ball, Wild Party, which was 1 week only. Get it while it's hot. I loved it. Moulin Rouge. We'll get into that as well. Fear of 13, I was nervous about because it's about Tessa Thompson and Adrian Brody, the one with the nose. Adrian Brody. Tessa Thompson is interviewing someone on death row. So going into it, I was like, this is going to be a show where they're just on stools for an hour and 45 minutes talking through plexiglass window. But it was so well done. So well done, in fact, that now I want to watch the documentary it's based on. And I'm not a documentary boy, but I want more details about it. So I specifically covered those the way I did because now I want to tell you my favorite from each one. They Will Kill You is a movie you need to run to see. So it is very similar to Ready or Not. I thought too similar when I saw the trailers, but couldn't be more different. So it's about this woman who becomes a maid at this high-end hotel in New York. When she's there, she finds out that they hire maids just to sacrifice them to Satan, and all the people that like work and stay at the hotel are part of this cult. But it's gory, but it's less of a horror movie and more of whatever Kill Bill is. And then my favorite show that you must run to see is Cats, the Jellicle Ball. So it's Cats, the Andrew Lloyd Webber one, but not people in Cats costumes. They set it in like black ballroom culture, and it works so much better than any other version of Cats, certainly better than James Corden and Taylor Swift, because Cats as a show is just like all these different cats telling you about their lives and like what kind of cat they are, if they're a house cat, if they're an alley cat, if they steal to survive, if they eat dead rats to survive. And then at the end, the oldest cat on the block gets to pick which one like gets to go to heaven. In this, all the different like drag queens or like trans people or like queer people, whatever, they're all like telling you about their lives and like how they fit into this ball. And then they do it. So like there's one like sexy cat in the movie. He was played by Jason Derulo. But then when he sings his song,
Jason Derulo.
They had to edit his bulge out, Chelsea, in the movie.
Should have had Justin Timberlake play him. They wouldn't have had to edit anything out. Remember when he got caught in that little harness and his little weenie was poking out?
Oh, I remember. They would have had to edit Lenny Kravitz's out. Remember when he ripped his pants and his dick popped out? He did a squat.
You won't let me forget it.
I look at it every week. So the one part, the sexy cat in the movie played by Jason Derulo, like when he sings his song, they do it. How do I want to say this? They segregate each person's song by like the different competitions they have in ballroom. So like when the sexy cat is singing, it's like the body competition. And then when the twins are singing, they make it the duos and like two people compete at the same time. It's so good. This will be the show that takes all my money. So any person that visits me in New York will be seeing Cats, the Jellicle Ball.
I love that. So one more reminder, we are on YouTube. Go over there, like, comment, subscribe. Tell us in the comments if you would be mad at us for taking on this reality TV endeavor. And hit the bell button so you're notified when we go live. And then one more plug, patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne. The first episode of BB40 will be out at some point this week, but starting in following weeks, it will be out bi-weekly on Wednesdays with a exit interview, perhaps sprinkled in on the off weeks. So patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne.
This week, Taylor Swift shocked the nation with news she may have gotten a dog. Europeans suffered a Kit Kat shortage because of truck thieves. Lizzo announced she waited to win a Grammy before losing her virginity. Barbie threw her hat into the ring of scam festivals. Ryan Gosling accepted a tour of the Days of Our Lives set. Rita Ora sang at a car show. Celine Dion announced a comeback residency. The Zuckerman sisters were picked to write Scream 8. Olivia Rodrigo dropped clues about a new album, and a new Jeffrey Epstein TV show is in the works featuring Laura Dern, because of course it is.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Let's get into headlines. I need to begin my segment with another segment that we are all too familiar with. It's time for a retraction.
Oh.
Now, this is what I get for picking a headline that isn't accidentally 12 years old. Because last week, you may recall, I told that touching tale of those homeward bound dogs escaping their fate of being eaten in China, protecting their little brother because he was hurt, making their way home. I've got some updates, because we can't have nice things in this world. At first, you told me it was an AI video, and I was about to AI myself.
When I found out it was AI, it did bring me a little bit of joy.
It's conniving. It's cunning.
Yeah.
I feel like a grandmother every time I'm tricked by it. I'm like, oh, look at these raccoons bouncing on this trampoline. How cute. Retweet. So I am happy to report it is not AI. So at least I didn't fall for that. At least at the time of the recording, I'm pretty sure it wasn't AI. It could be AI. Who knows?
I think your problem with picking this headline was that it wasn't a headline when you reported on it. It was just like people on Threads and people on whatever. But now, like, People Magazine has said what the truth is. So now I trust it.
Yeah, and that is the problem with being chronically online, is that sometimes we get the heartbreaking news. We were the only people reporting on Butch and Suni out in space last year, but sometimes we don't get all the facts from threads.com. And I did say that that one dog was hurt and they were all protecting him, making sure he didn't get hit by cars. They were all kind of circling around him, which like broke pack protocol. They were all just so committed to getting each other safely home. As it turns out, number one, not a boy. Very much not a boy. In fact, that dog was a girl dog, and that dog, that bitch, was in heat. So the dogs were not circling this dog because they were trying to protect her. They were circling her because they were trying to Beethoven second her. Literally.
But I still think that would make one hell of a movie.
It sure would. So, take that what you will. That's why we're not CNN. We're just shit in the streets, as Donnie once said. Now, speaking of shit in the streets, it's time. Okay. We got to talk about the mess that's on Summer House. So there has been speculation online for a couple weeks now. But I want to give a shout out to a cutie who slid into my DMs months ago and I think manifested all of this because words are spells. And this cutie said, and I have been trying to find this DM. So if it was you, cutie, send me another DM so I can take a screenshot because you called this whole thing. This person said back in December or January, wouldn't it be crazy if Amanda and West ended up together? I don't even think the season had aired yet. Crazy. So there's been speculation online, and this week, West and Amanda have officially confirmed their romance, and the Bravo community has collectively lost its mind. People are comparing it to Scandival, which I'll give my thoughts about in a little bit. But first, I want to say this. Number one, I do know that my scientists owe a lot of science, but I don't trust you bitches right now. I have a couple of really funny line graphs ready to go, and I just can't bring myself to post it because I don't think emotionally, spiritually, physically, I can handle the comment section right now because you guys are weird.
Yeah, your scientists need to do MRIs on people's brain. Oh, that's another reason why. My MRIs this week, so I'm just truly crashing out. But anyway.
Okay, well, we are not doing ANTM this week. I'm at least taking it off the table for this week for you. Yeah.
But your scientists need to do MRIs on people's brains if they're doing any science at all, because the people are nuts.
Nuts. I want to read you a text I got from a friend who watches reality TV, I would say in a casual way, the way any reality TV watcher is a casual watcher of I've binged every single season of this show that I'm into. And she loves Summer House. So earlier in the week, she said, "Did you hear about this Amanda and West thing? Do you think it might be true?" And I said, "Honestly, I think it might be true. This is crazy." And then a couple days later, she texted me when that Instagram story with a lot of wheeze was posted, and she said, "Whoa, they confirmed it. If I was Sierra, I would be so pissed." That was it. She followed it up a couple hours later and said, "I wonder if they're filming right now." And I just want to take this text message exchange. I want to hang it in the Louvre, or maybe pass it out when you're a new hire and you're just getting the norms and standards of the workplace. This text message exchange is a normal way of processing crazy reality TV news. You might notice she wasn't peeping in windows. You might notice she wasn't calling for people to be fired or a show to be canceled, which is a weird take. You might notice that she's not sending death threats. What the fuck is wrong with you people?
I don't know if it's because it shows I don't watch or what, but when Bravo fans get so invested where they're clearly losing the plot mentally because of what they're seeing on a reality show, it makes me so enraged. And when the information came out, an hour later, somebody clicked a picture of Sierra crying on the street or taking a mental break outside of wherever, a building. And they were like, "Give this woman some privacy. Hasn't she been through enough?" Yes, give this woman some privacy. But also...
You're reposting it.
Yeah. And to take her moment of privacy, this reality star stepped out on a busy New York street to sit on a sidewalk. I'm sure wherever she was had a bathroom. I'm sure wherever she was had, if it was work, a break room, a green room. These are reality stars that know what they're doing.
Yeah, and also, do you know what I would do if I was Sierra? I surely would sit my ass on the sidewalk and let everybody see how sad I am, because guess what? She is the victim in this.
Yeah.
let me be clear. Here are just some blanket statements of how I feel about this. Amanda's never been a girl's girl. If you
Mm-hmm.
look back historically, she's never defended the girls. She always threw Lindsay under the bus. She was always taking the guy's side. I don't know why people thought that she was all of a sudden going to be this like ride or die feminist girl's girl. She's never been that way. So yeah, of course, weird behavior. If she was in my friend group, you got to go. You've been voted off the island. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. West, I've gone back and forth with West because he is an aw shucks type of fuckboy. I do like that he's standing up to Kyle this season. Now maybe we know there was some ulterior motives going on there for why he was so blatant in his like respect for Amanda, because sometimes there is a type of man who's going to only talk to or respect a woman if he's going to have a chance of fucking her later. So maybe that's him. I've gotten enthralled in his clutches of fuckboyery, but that's because he is the type of fuckboy who has the specific siren song that speaks to my toxicity. So I get it, but I also am not surprised because we saw how he treated Sierra in the past, so why are we surprised? So they are clearly the villains. What pisses me off the most is that they are two people who are going to play the victim, so they're not even going to like double down in the like we're together and fuck everybody. Like if it was a Lindsay Hubbard, she would sit across from Sierra at brunch, take a sip of her Bellini and say, "And what, bitch?" But they're not going to do that, which is unfortunate. Obviously, Sierra is the victim in this, and she has every right to be so fucking pissed. And also, thank God she's getting a good edit this season. I just talked about how she's finally getting the edit she deserves this season. So thank God Bravo fans have finally come around to what I've been saying all along, which is she's a goddamn delight. But some of these people who are like picking up their torches and ready to like march in the streets, I'm like, let's rewind the tapes, because some of you have been like Sierra haters. There is such revisionist history going on with the fandom's relationship with Sierra. And maybe part of that is, again, she's finally getting the edit she deserves, and she's finally been able to have conversations about herself, her race, her identity, conversations I'm sure she's been having this whole time. She's finally having them be shown on the show. But like, I don't know. I'm just tired. And this isn't Scandival. It's different than Scandival. I think Scandival was a moment in time and maybe like the last great boom before a son died. Because I think that ever since Scandival, Bravo fans and reality TV fans have been like chasing that high, and it's ruining everything.
Yeah. As someone who doesn't watch the show, it appears to me like people are just doing what people love to do and like championing a woman so that they can tear her down. Because when Amanda announced the divorce, everyone was like, yes, it's this queen's time to shine. Yes, she's going to do this. Yes, she's going to do that. Yeah.
Last week, Donnie, on Summer House was like Kyle's most despicable, or 2 weeks ago was Kyle's most despicable episode ever, where we really like the curtain was pulled back to what Amanda was dealing with on a day-to-day basis. And everybody, of course, was up in arms and was like, holy shit, what the fuck is wrong with you, Kyle? Now there are people being like, well, maybe he talks to her like that for a reason. Shut up.
I know. So that's a big one, is I think people took Amanda in their heads as high as she would go. So now they're like, oh, the only place for her to go is down. Let's pull it out from under it. That's number one. Number two is I feel like people are going to do the same thing to Sierra. Like there are so many people now that are on her boat and her side and want the best for her, whatever, and like want her to be the next season of The Bachelorette. I hope she doesn't treat someone poorly on, like, God forbid we find out one of these men on the show has a girlfriend back home she didn't know about, because then we'll come for Sierra.
Well, and not even that. Let's hope she doesn't do anything bad, because in my hot take submissions every single week, I'm getting so many. I'm sick of Ariana. Ariana's so cocky now. I'm done with Ariana. Ariana hasn't done anything except for literally take a really shitty situation and thrive from it. And people are sick of it. Like they want a broken woman to pick herself back up, but not pick herself up too hard. But on the Sierra side, like, I'm glad she's finally getting the support that I think she's always deserved from the Bravo fandom. I don't know. And we have this conversation all the time, because me screaming into a microphone about how people take it too seriously and should stop screaming into microphones, I do understand that we're big old hypocrites.
I think the difference is I did not ask for this on my algorithm. People are
Yeah.
tuning in to watch Summer House. I am actively trying to not have this come into my sphere, and yet it still is. So, like, if people are riled up and not having fun and want people off of their TV because of what they're doing in real life, they're the problem. Me
Yeah.
being annoyed that I have to see this is not the problem.
Yeah, and I'm annoyed for two reasons. Number one, I do like to live in the bubble of what I'm experiencing on the show. And so, like, the fact that this is coinciding with like a mid-season trailer where West is like, I'm going to get Sierra back. Just
Mm,
as a viewer, I'm like, well, fuck. Like, I can't be invested in this storyline because I don't seek out outside of the show
yeah.
stuff anymore because I want to live in this fake delusional reality of like what's being presented to me on screen is the show and is reality. But there's no escaping that. So I do wish that there would be, like, we'll never have another moment again, like the premiere of the second season of Southern Charm, where boom, Catherine Dennis is pregnant. We
Yeah.
didn't know that. We'll never get that again because everything is spoiled beforehand. And yes, this is their real life. And yes, it was probably going to break anyway. But part of why it broke was because people were literally like peeping in windows and
Yeah.
stalking them. So, like, there's just a level of ick. But then the other reason it annoys me is that everybody's opinions are just so fucking wrong.
I
Like,
know.
people who are calling for the show to be canceled or like to fire Amanda and West, this is reality TV. If anything, the Summer House fandom should be so pumped because this show has been on rocky footing. They're all getting older. The premise doesn't quite fit anymore. Like, this is not the time to fire Amanda. This is the time to say, all right, let's pick up cameras and get to filming. There's like a morality that comes with reality TV. And I do agree. I think, we need more of the energy of people walking the plank, like that one show you're watching.
We need to make the people on Threads walk the plank. But I think these Looney Tunes on Threads that watch Bravo, I think the problem is that whether they have podcasts or Instagram accounts or whatever, because there are parasocial relationships with people who watch the show and don't have any of those things. Then like there are a level of podcasters who, because they're there and like are in the DM sometimes, I think they really view these people as friends more than just like the normal viewer. So they're the ones that are always the most wrong about it, because I think when they watch these shows, they like envision themselves in these friend groups kind of. So now like not only are you being terrible to Sierra, but like Sierra's my girl and I thought you were my girl.
Yeah.
When in reality, nobody's your girl. Log off.
And they don't know you. Knock it off. I hope you go to bat for the people in your real life the way you're showing up for people on the internet. And I don't think that's true. And to end this segment, I will just say, as somebody who just literally played a game that was filmed like a reality show, I want to remind everybody that the people you enjoy on screen would probably not be the people you would want to be in your inner circle in real life. Because again, you've shown me some of the confessionals, and watching the confessionals back, there are certain people who would be my absolute favorite watching the show who, when I was playing with them, I felt very unsettled by. And I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, great. So something unsettling to me is I went to see Moulin Rouge this week. It was one of my 5. Moulin Rouge is a near perfect film, one of Nicole Kidman's best. It isn't the same on stage. I've seen it twice, and it's just not my favorite. But me and Kendrick did buy tickets the day it was announced that Meg the Stallion would be in the production. We show up. She is what I pictured her to be, but a little worse. So Wendy Williams was the worst person I've ever seen in a Broadway show. Like so bad that like it wasn't good, and it made me embarrassed that I brought friends, whatever. Like that's how bad Wendy Williams
That's
was.
bad when you feel embarrassed on behalf of a production.
She played Queen Latifah's part. And in the middle of the song, she said, "How you doing?" But like, even that wasn't normal. Like, I feel like she was so in her head about being in a show that she couldn't even be herself, which is why I went to do it, because I was like, oh, Wendy Williams as herself is this character. But like, she was whatever. She wasn't good. So Meg possibly the worst acting I've ever seen.
Okay.
And like so unprofessional if you think about it, but it was exactly what it needed to be, that it was perfect. She was the owner of the Moulin Rouge Club. So like her lines are very like, welcome to the Moulin Rouge. We have sin, we have gin, we have this, we have that. And then the one line is like, ladies and gentlemen. And she like, the words slipped up in her head. She was like, lazies. And instead of just like continuing or improving, she just said, bitch, and then started the line again. And there were like numerous times where she would mess up her line and just say like, shit.
Did people laugh?
Yeah, I was howling. I thought it was so good. Like a couple times she would mess up her line and go, 40 minutes into the production, we just have My Gift Is Your Song. Christian sings it to Satine and the elephant. We're leading in to the elephant love medley. They're holding hands. They just share their first kiss. And the stage manager comes on and says, ladies and gentlemen, please stay seated. We'll continue the show in a moment. The house lights come back on. We wait for like a half hour. Nobody knows anything. And I knew in my gut it was Meg. I knew we were not going to come back to this stage with Megan Thee Stallion on stage. I was correct. It had later been announced that she was hospitalized. They didn't say why yet, but she was hospitalized. So on like the Playbill post on Instagram, whatever, there are a lot of like pieces of shit from like the touring company of Hamilton, or like people in like random little shows that are like, Broadway's not for the week. The Broadway schedule's not for the week. And then people like fighting with them. But then I said like, hey, boots on the ground. I was in the audience, and the first 40 minutes she was locked in. Like if she was sick, if she was, like I didn't say she was good, but like I did say she was locked in. She was taking it seriously. She was doing what she was there to do. If she was sick, I could not tell in those first 40 minutes. If she was injured, obviously I wouldn't see what happened backstage, but like if it's a sickness, I had no idea. And then the girl that plays Satine, she like commented underneath me, and she's like, I just wanted to second this. Like she came in sick that day and like begged to go on, and like she really put her hole in it, put her heart in it. So yeah, that's what me and Satine have to say about that.
Man, well, I hope she's okay.
Me too.
Let's move on to Cutie of the Week. You go first, because I want to end with mine.
Okay, cuties, the time has come. If you've been not watching 911 Nashville, I get it. Neither have I. There was the crossover event 2 weeks ago where they had like the Firefighters National Games, where the regular cast of 911 went to compete against the cast of 911 Nashville in like these firefighter competition games, whatever. But normally I stay away from 911 Nashville. But we can't anymore, because my cutie of the week is Kyle Richards, who will be guest starring on 911 Nashville just next week.
Wow. Stay tuned, cuties. I would say tune in, but I don't think we need to. I think we'll just hear all about it next week.
No, please tune in. But also, I did force Nor to... I said, you might not have been at my birthday party, but you will be covering 911 Nashville starring Kyle Richards on your podcast. So I will be a guest to talk about that. So
Great.
Stick around.
Well, I love when you bully yourself on to other people's shows, so that maybe it spares me a little bit.
I'm doing my damnedest to get on a Love Overboard podcast.
Ask, believe, receive, and so it is. My cutie of the week is Olaf.
What?
He died this week at Disney World.
Okay.
This animatronic figure has been around for years and years, and I just want to say work won't love you back, and I'm glad that he got a well-deserved break. I'm going to play the video now, and actually, upon talking to you earlier, I think that this actually is a pretty good representation of you this week. So I'm going to end on this for the cuties. Spiritually, we are all Olaf today.
Oh.
Olaf fall down.
I'm going to just wheel him off.
Security coming out at the end is insane. But besides that, I love that people screamed.
I mean, when the nose pops off, you know that your goose is cooked. Yeah, so Olaf, I hope you get the rest that you deserve.
I hope you're back by Monday. People paid to see you.
Okay. There you have it. There is the core of I am the cute one. Right,
I can't let Meg Thee Stallion and Olaf clock out both the same week, Chelsea. One needs to get back on that stage.
You know, to quote one Kimberly Kardashian, people just don't want to work these days.
And on that note, we will talk to you later. Love you like a sister. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to I Am the Cute One. If you want more, head to patreon.com/IamTheCuteOne for uncut, unedited, and unhinged video and audio footage of current episodes, as well as even more bonus content.
And if you like what you heard, please be sure to leave a 5-star rating and subscribe to our show. And to help us grow this community of chaotic cuties, share an episode with a friend you think would pass the vibe check.
And to see the madness, check out our YouTube channel, where video footage from all current episodes are posted weekly.
You can follow me at Real Donnywood on Instagram and all other social media platforms.
And if you want more of my personal brand of chaos, check me out at Oh No Chels.
Talk to you later. Love you like a sister.